Rivals community is freaking out because Marvel Rivals has gone ahead and fired their game director and his entire team in Seattle. Or did they? Of course, in addition to that, we've got a brand new and exciting new character that has just been revealed for Marvel Rivals. No, I'm not talking about the Thing, and no, I am not talking about the Human Torch, although those two got incredibly cool gameplay trailers and some really awesome skins as well. What's going on, everybody? My name is Blitzwinger, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome on back to a brand new Marvel Rivals video. Today we've got drama, we've got excitement, and honestly, excitement and Marvel Rivals go hand in hand like peanut butter and jelly. Just as I got done doing my developer talk breakdown video, we got all of this influx of more new news, so there's more to talk about. Now, of course, before we talk about all the news, I do want to ask for a little bit of support. So if you guys can, just take a quick moment and leave a like on today's video. That would be very much appreciated. And without further ado, let's dive on in. Now, as the excitement was surrounding Marvel Rivals over the last 24 hours, there was also some drama or some negative news that was revealed as well, because we saw these two posts over on LinkedIn that essentially hint to the idea that these two people, along with their entire team in Seattle, have been laid off by NetEase. And for those of you that don't know who NetEase is, that is the company that is making Marvel Rivals. And of course, the other dramatic element to all of this unfolding was the fact that this person right here, Thaddeus Sasser, I hope I'm saying this person's name correctly, but they went ahead and on their LinkedIn posted that they are a game director on the game. And typically speaking, game directors are really important for their role. They are overseeing the overall vision of the game and kind of the direction of the game. So obviously, when we saw this, a lot of people became concerned for a multitude of facets. First and foremost, it is no matter what a bummer for the jobs that are lost, for these people that were hopefully passionate about the job that they were doing and they were excited about their future. And now obviously all of that is in limbo. So that's the first and foremost element. The next point is the fact that obviously a lot of people were saying, hey, this is a game director. Does that mean that the game is now going to suck? This is someone who's important, who's been laid off from their role. What is going to happen to Marvel Rivals going forward? And thirdly, incredibly confusing no matter what, because usually we see layoffs in studios for video games that have flopped, video games that release that are not very good, that are terrible quality, therefore they sell poorly, and then that leads to layoffs. This is not the case here. This game is exceptionally successful. For all we know, this is one of the most successful games in recent history. And so it is definitely confusing as to why the game would even have layoffs to begin with. Well, things get a little bit muddled because we actually got a response from a community manager for Marvel Rivals itself, James over here, who went ahead and said the following. Now, I'm not 100% certain here, and I don't want to speak for James, but there's also some controversy about how he responded here in terms of like, oh, this is so insincere and heartless. But I also suspect that James probably does not have English as his first language. So I think that there's a little bit of miscommunication here. But regardless, let's get into the actual points and then I'll give my 2 cents on the entire topic. So first and foremost, he clarifies to say that the game does not have multiple game directors, which is obviously confusing because then it's like, well, why is this guy listing himself as a game director on LinkedIn? Did he mess up by doing so? Or is this NetEase like having some sort of moment of miscommunication with the team in Seattle? Again, kind of confusing no matter what. But he clarifies that there's one game director and the vision of the game is being helmed by this one person who we've seen part of the developer talks. So there's quote unquote nothing to be worried about there. In addition to that, there were some people that were immediately raising other accusations about like, oh, is this like some sort of workplace harassment or NetEase is treating their employees poorly and so on and so forth. And James kind of in some makeshift way tries to comment on that as well, saying that, hey, there's been a lot of miscommunication here and that quote unquote, it is totally funny as far as how this has all been reported by the media, which then made a lot of people say, oh, why would you say totally funny? You're heartless. People are losing their jobs. This is terrible. And again, I don't want to seem like I'm defending NetEase here or anything like that, but I do think that there could be some level of miscommunication here in terms of him probably maybe mistranslating something or essentially just trying to get the point across that people are running away with this story, making up a lot of assumptions without actually verifying the existing structure and the plans that they had in place. meaning that who knows, maybe this was a team that was hired temporarily just to provide some support, and now they're no longer needed in that particular role. So it is not something where they're like harshly trying to lay off these people. It was maybe part of their plan to begin with. Again, does it still suck for the people that are suffering the layoff? Absolutely. Of course it does. And who knows, maybe they could have handled this better in terms of trying to let them know and not kind of catch them off guard in the way that they did. Oh, and there was also some concern from the community about the fact that, hey, if the entirety of the Western support team is getting laid off as part of this process out in Seattle, does that mean that they will no longer be listening to the Western fan base? Are they going to be out of touch with the Western fan base? And James also clarified with that, saying that, hey guys, just so you're aware, every decision that we make for Marvel Rivals, we check in with Marvel themselves on a weekly basis. So we would still be held accountable by Marvel themselves to make sure that we're doing this IP justice and do a good job with it. But on a brighter note, we did get our first look at Blade, which is super duper freaking awesome. Not only does Blade appear as part of the teaser trailer for the brand new Central Park map, which by the way is filled with incredible Easter eggs. I do really look forward to playing on this map. I did see some people say, oh, what is the payload? It's so weird. Like, did they literally make a squirrel god with a big giant horn the payload for that particular map? Yes, Ratatsker is an actual character. I mean, I guess it's a character from Norse mythology as well, but it is a character that has appeared in the Marvel Universe in a bunch of ridiculous storylines, including the extinction of dinosaurs, but that's a story for a whole nother time. But it is cool that, in my opinion, it shows that the Marvel Rivals team is really digging deep into the mythos of Marvel and not just kind of staying on the surface level. I mean, for goodness gracious, they literally included Squirrel Girl's helicopter in this map, which is insane, as well as her base. I just think that, again, the attention to detail has been absolutely spectacular by the team so far. But back to the topic at hand, and that is Blade. Blade looks absolutely freaking sick just in the trailer itself, but then streamers were able to actually go ahead and play the game early on the Central Park map, and as part of that stream, we saw Tim the Tatman find Blade himself chained up in Dracula's castle, which supports the entire storyline that we've heard so far for this particular season of Marvel Rivals, where essentially, if you don't know, Dracula has essentially captured Blade and is keeping him imprisoned within his castle, and it is the Fantastic Four that are trying to rescue him and free him so that then he can join the fray and become a playable character, which is super duper exciting. I mean, if the rumors are correct and if the leaks are correct, it does point to the fact that at the end of season 1.5, we will be freeing Blade, and then he will be becoming a playable character. Apparently, he might even have like a vampire mode, so that should be really cool. Blade is one of my favorite characters. The Wesley Snipes Blade movies, the first and the second one especially, are phenomenal. So I cannot wait to see him get added to the game. I think the character looks great. I think the character model looks great, and I can't wait to see what the gameplay is like for him. And speaking of epic gameplay, we've got not one, but two gameplay trailers for both the Human Torch.
I'm the brightest in the sky.
And the Thing.
Ready to throw down.
So let's begin with The Thing, who will actually be getting portrayed by Andrew Morgado. That is the voice actor that is doing his voice, who interestingly enough has actually voiced another Marvel character in the past with Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, where he voiced Venom. Also, in a hilarious kind of unfolding of events, he also did actually voice The Rock's character from the Jumanji movie video game. So that's pretty funny that he was The Rock and now he's The Thing, who's made of rocks. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. But hey, on the brighter side, we have incredibly exciting gameplay to look at. I mean, the character itself looks super duper exciting. I cannot wait to be able to actually dive into the gameplay side of things and play the game on the 21st. His full set of abilities is really interesting. We did get confirmation that obviously he'll be able to have the team up with Wolverine, which is similar to the one that the Hulk has, where they use the fastball special, except this one is actually titled the Cosmic Fastball to be a little bit more unique to the Thing and Wolverine instead of the one with Hulk and Wolverine. Hopefully we'll get a Colossus one at some point in the future as well. We also did learn that he will indeed have the team up move with Invisible Woman, so that will indeed be available as well. The cooperative comrades will be returning as it was for the other members of the Fantastic Four, and the rest of his kit looks pretty fantastic as well, consisting of the Rocky Jab attack, the Yancey Street charge attack, the embattled leap, the Stone Haymaker, the Unyielding Will is going to be his passive ability, and then of course, very appropriately titled, as we all as a community already guessed, his ultimate, which is titled Clobberin' Time. Now, I did see one kind of funny, I guess, criticism of this gameplay trailer, and that was people saying, oh my goodness, the thing looks so tiny compared to the Hulk in this one shot. And I'm like, you do realize that the Hulk is in his ultimate form here. Therefore, this is a much larger Hulk character model than he usually would be. And to be quite honest, in most comic books that I've read, the Hulk tends to be a little bit taller than the Thing as it is. The Thing tends to be a little bit more like wider as a character. So I personally don't find any issue with the scale of his character model, but it was just a funny story that I saw brought up multiple times as reactions to this gameplay trailer began to drop. We also did get to find out what the Lord icon for the Thing looks like. So if you do manage to hit Lord level on the Thing, that is the icon that you will get to unlock. Speaking of unlocking things, we also got to see the 2 skins that he will be launching with. So first and foremost, we have the first family skin, which I kind of really like because it's a bit more of the, I guess, kind of like modern Fantastic Four attire, where it's the black and blue color scheme instead of the standard one that we see that they have adapted for Marvel Rivals so far. I actually do really like that recolor. That will definitely be something that I will be unlocking. And then, of course, in addition to that, you also have the very cool trench coat thing that will be launching as well. And that will be available as both a bundle, meaning that you could buy the skin, the spray, the emote, and the MVP all together for, I think it's going to be 1,600 units, or you could buy the skin by itself for just 1,400 units just as a standalone item, which I think is pretty cool. It gives you a little bit more versatility in terms of decision making, although 200 unit difference, I think you probably are better off to just get the bundle if you're getting the skin at all.
I'm the brightest in the sky.
That's right, Johnny. It's time to talk about the Human Torch. And similarly to how we kick things off with the Thing, the Human Torch will be voiced by the voice actor known as Scott White, who, interestingly enough, has actually done the voice of Captain Quark. I had no idea about that, from the Ratchet and Clank series, as well as voicing the Transformer Jazz back in the highly, or I guess critically acclaimed, War for Cybertron game series. So that is definitely pretty cool. Now, speaking of cool, there is no cooler guy than Johnny Storm himself, and they captured all that coolness with his gameplay. In fact, I kind of worry that he might just be a little too cool, because honestly, the abilities that are on showcase here for the Human Torch are absolutely incredible. His entire kit consists of the Fire Cluster ability. He has the Plasma Buddy ability. He has Pyro Prison. He has a Flaming Meteor ability and his Blazing Blast ability. But all of that culminates with his ultimate, which is titled Supernova. It looks insanely powerful, especially when you then marry it with the Storm, because then you get the team-up ability titled Omega Fire, where essentially while Storm is in her tornado form, you can go on ahead and add some flames to the situation, and holy moly, it looks like the entire screen is covered in flames. I'm very curious to see whether or not this character will feel balanced. I guess we will see, but as of right now, all of the gameplay that I've seen for this guy looks absolutely game-breakingly fun, but I wonder what it'll do to the meta. Now, of course, beyond that, he does also have a team-up ability with the rest of the Fantastic Four, or sorry, similarly to the rest of the Fantastic Four. This one is titled United Siblings, where essentially it's the same sort of buff that Invisible Woman grants the other members of the Fantastic Four, but this time for Johnny himself. Now, similarly to the Thing, we also did get to take a look at the Lord icon for the Human Torch. So if you were wondering what that looks like, that is right there. If you reach Lord rank on this character, which I suspect a lot of people will because he looks so much fun to play as, you'll be unlocking that icon right there. And then, of course, similarly to the Thing, Human Torch will also be launching with 2 skins when he arrives in the game. So, of course, we will first and foremost have the first family color variant, which again looks really nice. So it goes really well with the previously mentioned Thing. If you prefer the blue and black color combination for their costumes instead of the white and blue that they have gone with so far, you can go ahead and unlock that. And then his very fancy and premium skin is going to be the Negative Zone Gladiator skin, which looks absolutely bonkers. It is a very kind of divisive style. I think some people will love it. I think some people will find it a little bit too busy. I personally am not a big fan of this design, but I can see why some people would be. It will be also once again available as a bundle, so you can either purchase the skin by itself for 1,400 points, or once again, you can purchase it along with the spray, the MVP, and the emote in a bundle for 1,600 units. Now, speaking of units, this seems like a perfect time to go ahead and bring up an update on the token redemption system. Of course, if you don't know, I talked about it during the complete breakdown of the developer talk that they just held yesterday, where we found out about this brand new token redemption system. Essentially, for those of you that have not been caught up, basically, it's going to allow you to take the tokens that you have left over after you've completed your battle pass already, and you continue to do daily and weekly missions, you continue to collect tokens. Well, what do you do with those tokens? Right now, they're just going to sit there and kind of be obsolete. Well, they're actually going to now allow us to take those tokens and turn them into units so that then you can buy skins. Well, we didn't know what the exchange was going to be. Now we know. The current exchange is going to be 1,000 tokens will translate into 100 units. So yes, is it expensive? Certainly is. But it's still a nice way to at least make you feel like you're working towards something once you've already completed your battle pass. That way, those tokens are not just sitting there doing absolutely nothing. Now, another clarification, because I do see a lot of people mention this, they're saying, oh, I have all these tokens. I'm going to redeem them for units and buy skins. Keep in mind, you have to meet the following conditions. You need to go ahead and make sure that you have the luxury battle pass. If you don't have the battle pass, you will not be able to have access to this redemption system. You need to make sure that you've redeemed the entirety of the battle pass. If you haven't done that, you won't be able to redeem your tokens for units until you meet that condition as well. So both of those conditions must be met. And once you have met those conditions, you can exchange the extra leftover tokens into units. And then last but certainly not least, we also got an update on the brand spanking new season event that will be going live on February 21st as well, with new challenges to complete. And of course, as you complete those challenges, you will then be rewarded with a plethora of items. So we can see that obviously in typical fashion, they will include things like a nameplate, they will include a loading screen, but most excitingly, at least in my personal opinion, for all of us Groot players, we will be getting a brand spanking new Groot skin as the final reward for this particular season event, titled the Carved Traveler, which actually looks pretty cool. So I can't wait to add that one to my collection as well. Ooh, so there you have it, guys. That is today's Marvel Rivals update, and it is an absolutely epic one indeed. It took a long time to put this one together just because there's so much to cover here, but I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, I would really appreciate if you could take a quick moment and leave a like. Consider sharing the video with a fellow Marvel Rivals fan so that they are all caught up and ready to go for the release of Season 1.5. I will hopefully catch each and every single one of you lovely folks here on the next one. Peace out. I'll see y'all later. Alligators.